Hello, hi. Hello, Capricorns. Nice to have you here. And I'm Bella, the Secret Psychic. And how I work in order how I do my readings for the month is that I work with my spirit guides. So it's them that use me, I guess, as a vessel to pass on a message about what it is you should expect when it comes to love in a very general way for March 2017. And for those of you who don't know anything about my services, just look below, or perhaps join my Facebook community where you can get to know me a lot better and join my very lovely community that are there. So, what do my guides want me to convey to you in terms of what to expect when it comes to love in a very general way for March 2017? The one thing my guide said to me to express really to Capricorns when it comes to the month of March is about trusting your intuition in all things good and bad. It comes up highly, but also feels to me at a very deep level that a lot of you will be deeply tuning into your spiritual aspect of you when it comes to thinking about love and connections. So this would apply whether you are single or whether you're established. It is very much about, and they use the words, building a nest, building the right kind of foundations and making your own plans. And this is why I say even if you're single, because for me it feels to me there's a lot of contentment around you even with that aspect, because you're building almost like who you are and your status in all things that are outside of that kind of love realm, and almost saying what will be. I'm happy with what I've built for myself. So if people want to join me, that's great. I'm very grounded and very comfortable in that very earth aspect of you, as you should be as a Capricorn. But the word nest gets used a lot, and I do know for some Capricorns that when I spoke earlier on in the year, there was the actual literal sort of preparing for actually an extension of family in terms of children, kids, pregnancy, things like that. So that nest aspect could be about that. I just get here, particularly in your first week, there's a lot of groundwork done in terms of being creative in a connection, even if that means with yourself. And I think what my guides mean in terms of creativity is, sometimes relationships can get a bit mundane and boring, or we as people can be a bit mundane and boring. It feels to me that you creatively want to do something. So particularly if you're single, it feels to me that a creative place to be is where you'll ideally meet the person that you should be dating. So there's something about this whole month about you putting yourself in creative situations that would help you greatly to align to somebody who is better attuned to you, for those of you who are single. So that can be an art class, drama, it could be anything that's artistic, creative, even IT, graphic design, whatever this is, give it a go. But outside of that, in that first week, again, for those who are in established connections, it feels to me that creativity comes from how can we improve what we have? What is it that we can do? Should we start having date nights? Should we do an activity together that is creative? Let's do salsa dancing together. There is something that you want to build again, this nesting, this creative aspect that comes out in a very contentful way. And I've noticed this with March when it comes to love. For most star signs, there is an element of contentment quite a lot. And then as we move into the second week, definitely in the second week, for those of you who are single and are being very active and perhaps in that creative way that I've talked about, that actually there is a new, brand new, not old or anything like that, new, lovely, new connection that you will make. So I'm actually encouraging you, if you are single when you don't want to be single, because there will be some of you who are actually going to be content this month to be single, but that first week, do something creative, because in the second week, there is a new budding relationship, or the starts of it. So it could just be the flirting aspect of it, but it does build to somewhere, basically, in a very new and good way. Feels to me as well in that second week, again, for those of you that are established, so much is coming up about children, I have to say. So again, it could be that there's a focus on what it is you do with your children, but again, whole pregnancy stuff comes up, your fertility. So for some Capricorns, if you're trying to increase your family, again, that second week would be a good time to do it, because I'm getting high fertility. But I get here also that, again, is that newness. So again, I get some of you who are coupled up, maybe doing things that are outside, because I'm getting a lot of outside activity. It's almost like the energy of outside and the sunlight and walks and breathing in fresh air actually literally invigorates and breathes fresh air into your connection. So use all this creativity and this nesting to your advantage, because it just makes things feel really nicely paced and content. So much so that this is where they talk about your intuition, because as you get to the 3rd week, it's like you can absolutely, in a very lovely way, feel really connected and attuned to somebody, but that you can actually read each other's minds almost. You just know their vibe, you can trust it completely. But with that, and actually my guide just said something, for some of you Capricorns, you may be meeting, which is a very rare event, and I hardly ever say this, you may be meeting your twin flame. Why? Because it falls in that week in particular. The spiritual bond that you have with a person, new or established, is at its highest. And that's why my guys just jumped in and said, for some of you, small number, because twin flames are very rare. And if you don't know what twin flames are, I do have a video on it, so do check it out. It's on my channel. There is a massive spiritual awakening and growth happening in that 3rd week in such a beautiful way, but it impacts you at a personal level. You are going to be starting to change deeply within because of the connection to somebody else, which I find that you're very grateful for. And if you're a single Capricorn, that doesn't escape you either, if I'm being honest with you. Because in that 3rd week, it's been shown to me that you have almost like an epiphany of self-love, but in a deeply spiritual way. In fact, in that week, you seem to love everything and everyone. You are mighty happy with love. I've been loving doing the March readings because they've just been so content filled. And so astrologically, there's probably a lot going on that I don't have enough detail to go into or look into, but definitely contentment. But for you, star sign in particular, there is this spiritual bond and joining. And actually, sometimes when I'm showing that symbol, again, there will be some Capricorns that will be getting married in that week. So that's the actual spiritual union that's going on. In the 4th week, now it's kind of been split 2 ways by how my guides want to show it. There's almost like half Capricorns who are then just using that energy to then really look at things anew. Like, I get here that you're just full of new hope and energy, that it spills into other areas of your life in terms of moving home, in terms of work and everything. But it feels to me that you guys literally, I don't know, it's like the 3rd week, this feels like such a magnificent shift in the way you perceive your world, that actually you start, it's almost like this is the start of your new year, really, particularly when it comes to love. I just get here, you're going forward going, I don't have anything to worry about, because the person that I'm with or the person I've just met is solid and I know it. I know the meaning of their connection, so why am I worrying about it? That's how lovely. Now that's this half of you. Now there's another half where I don't know how to explain this. It's almost like the connection saying here that you may feel a bit foolish about being so optimistic. Why? Because in life we often tell ourselves that there should be a lack, or that some sort of doom or gloom is going to sort of happen to kind of change that aspect. I would try to... Sorry, that's my dog again. There's always one video that he gets into. I would say that if you can, basically try to be like the other Capricorns. Don't think that you're being too foolish or too ambitious or too everything. Try to take it for what it is, that you can be content in this moment. Sometimes if we dwell on what worries us or what persists, then we just almost manifest it. So if you start to feel foolish, or that you can't trust this wonderfulness because it feels too good, then in a way you will draw that to you. You'll start to see the signs for it unnecessarily. So do trust it. Do be like the other half. Try not to think that things are going too good and that it's too good to be true. Because actually I think it is true, particularly for March anyway. So I do hope that's helped. Sorry about the interruption of said dog, Mr. Darcy, who always interrupts at least one of my videos. So I do hope that's been helpful for you today. Again, if you do like this, do like, subscribe, do share, and do also come and check out my services as well. Great to hear from you, and thanks so very much for taking the time to hear what I had to say. Take care. Bye.